Welcome to a new edition of the Neon Jazz interview series with Miami-based jazz band leader Dan Bonsanti. He talked about the 2021 CD Cartoon Bebop. We caught up with him about this new CD that he's done with his big band and this COVID-19 world we live in, along with a little bit more in between. Enjoy.
Hi, Joe. How are you? Happy New Year.
Good. Happy New Year to you. What's going on?
Same old stuff, just excited to have this new release coming out and starting, with the radio play sometime around the 18th. I think they're mailing out the CDs to the stations on the 8th. So sometime after the 15th or so, hopefully we'll start to get some radio play, I hope.
Yeah, that's my plan, and that's why I wanted to catch up with you. So thanks for taking a minute out to talk about the brand new album, Cartoon Bebop. I appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for being interested in our release, and I've been looking forward to having a chance to chat with you.
Me too, man. The one thing that pops out the minute that you get this CD is, of course, Bebop brings a lot of very good emotions, a lot of great memories, and then you have Cartoon, you pop it in. It's a very kind of whimsical, fun tune that opens it up. I guess before we get into the actual artistic construction of the project, talk to me a little bit about, this coming out on the heels of a pretty tumultuous year in our world and kind of starting off fresh and all of that. Kind of talk to me a little bit about that.
Well, we had an initial budget and an initial plan that would have been somewhat traditional in the recording process. As you know, today, it's unusual to put the whole band in one big room unless you're doing a live recording and trying to record your project because it's very difficult to make improvements, fixes, and all that. So we were going to just record the rhythm sections, parts, and then in pieces we would do the horns and maybe some individual overdubs with a few guys that had their home studios. But as we were making our plans and getting started, we had to make a major shift. Our engineer also has a place not only in Miami, but he has a place up in North Florida on the coast, and he's got a set up there. So they felt it would be safer, he and his wife, so they moved up there. We ended up making a plan to do all of the recording remotely, individually with musicians that had home recording studios. So that was a big change, and we had to adapt everything to that. And it was a monumental feat, almost magic, that our engineer and pianist, Mike Levine, was able to take all these individual recordings and put them together in one project and make it sound like we did it live.
That's amazing, and I think that's been kind of a part of this whole process of living through the pandemic is all of the adjustments that need to be made. So are you happy now that it's materialized and it's together with how it sounds and how it all came together?
Yes. I'm as satisfied as anybody can be when they produce and they write the music and the individuals who did the recording. But yes, I feel like each one of our projects has been an improvement in many different areas, and I'm very satisfied. All things considered, I'm very, very satisfied with how the final product has come. You give up some spontaneity when you don't do things live, but you also gain some other things. You have a lot of clarity in the recording. You get the best possible performance you can get from every one of the musicians. And you get great solos because the guys get a chance to do more than one. And so if they're not happy in a live setting, they're kind of stuck with whatever their improvisational recording is. So instead, here they can do a couple of different solos and then send us whatever they really like. There's a lot of advantages. Spontaneity is not one of them, but you don't get a lot of that in modern day big band recordings anyway, unless you're doing it live in front of an audience.
What do you hope those that buy this or download it get from this experience? How do you want them to feel about this whole album?
Well, as you know, people now don't buy CDs, and they rarely even do downloads of the album. They usually will give a listen to some of the tracks and pick out a favorite or two, and then they'll listen to it on Spotify or, one of the streaming apps. And I just want them to enjoy whatever tracks they can locate that they like. We purposefully do a highly diversified project, no longer do it like thematically, expecting people to play a CD from beginning to end. And although we'll put the selections together so that you'd have a nice sequence, we kind of expect to try to attract a diversified audience by having so many different styles of music on one recording. So I just hope they can find a few things that they really can enjoy that will stand up to repeated listening.
So when we do return to the audience and you return to the stage, what do you hope we all realize about this kind of, going on 10-month absence away from live music?
Oh, wow. I just hope that conditions will prevail where people can go back to venues and begin to listen to good music again in a live setting. The challenges are going to be, are there going to be able to be restaurants and clubs and venues that are still in business and can afford to open and pay musicians and ensembles to come in and give concerts and performances? And then will people eventually, I'm guessing, will want to get out after being kind of stuck at home for a long period of time, especially maybe some of the older folks that were a lot more cautious because they're more susceptible to the virus. So I'm just hoping that we'll get some sense of normalcy going down the road. I don't know if that'll take another year or maybe 2 years. We'll have to see.
That's the mystery right now. Dan, thank you for talking about the new album. I really enjoyed it. It's great to catch back up with you, and hopefully we can catch back up in more saner times and you have a full itinerary and things are different.
Well, that's great. Well, thank you so much for thinking of us, and I appreciate the promotion that you're giving our project. And I hope to speak with you again real soon, and thanks again.
Thanks for listening and tuning in to another Neon Jazz interview. We give you a bit of insight into the finest band leaders in Miami, Kansas City, and spots all over the world, giving fans all that jazz. And thanks to Dan for his time, music, and story. If you want to hear more interviews, go to Famous Interviews with Joe Domino in the iTunes Store. Visit Neon Jazz at YouTube.com, and for everything Neon Jazz all the time, go to the neonjazz.blogspot.com. Until next time, enjoy the jazz, my friends.
Neon Jazz.